All right, well, it's that time of year again. It is time for the annual Mississippi River bow hunting extravaganza. This will be my third year doing this, just going to the Mississippi with a boat and hunting islands and peninsulas. Last year, my brother came with, and we had an awesome trip. We each got a buck, kind of back-to-back, evening hunt, morning hunt, and it was like, bam, it was awesome. I'm trying to keep my expectations realistic this year, because what happened last year is an anomaly. That normally doesn't happen. Usually you just hoof it a lot, get wet, cold, don't end up with anything but a good time. So my expectations are that maybe we'll bring a deer back, but certainly not 2 bucks like last year. That was nuts. But anyhow, this year's a little weird for me because this will be the first time that I'll have gone deer hunting all season. We're 3 weeks into the season, so normally by now I'd have been out a dozen times or more. But my wife and I decided earlier this year to sell our house and the 15 acres that it was on and buy another property to build a house on. So I've been building the house and working, and I just haven't had time. I've been pretty pooped out. So between building the house and doing my job, I just haven't had the energy to go out hunting. So this trip for me is going to be a little bit of a vacation. So I may just end up napping up in the tree, not shooting anything, but we'll see how it goes. My brother's going to be here in a bit, and we're going to go out and do a little scouting mission with the boat to check out the areas we visited last year to make sure we can still access them by boat and all that good stuff. And then we're going to get our act together for the morning hunt tomorrow. So it's going to be good. All right, well, it's the first below freezing day of the year, so we should be able to at least be cold, which is one of the staples of hunting. So it's nice and calm. I didn't poop before we left this morning, which means I will once we get to the woods. So everything is looking normal.
Alright, so we're out for the first morning. We got up in the tree just a little bit after shooting light. It's a really nice morning, so that's good. We haven't seen any deer, so that's not good.
So that buck that we almost got this morning, he came right through this trail right here. Left a big old scrape right there underneath a little licking branch. And we were up in that set of maples right there. The problem was he went off through this way. There's just all this thick stuff between that tree and where he was at. And I could get a camera angle underneath the tree, but he couldn't shoot over it, so. But it's a real nice looking trail coming through them. And if you look over there, that's a heavy trail. So if we'd known that trail was there, we would have done a lot more work on clearing some kind of a shooting lane to this side. But when we scouted last night, it was pitch dark, so we're kind of just going off of where he shot that deer out of that tree last year. But now we know. We're up in the tree now for the afternoon sit, and we're just on the other side of the kind of drainage thing that we were on this morning. So the side that buck ran towards. We set up on this side, thinking he might, if he does go back to where he had been bedded last night, that he might try to come through on the lower end of this instead of the upper end where we had been. Kind of because we spooked him a little bit, but because we didn't spook him hard, we're wondering if he might come back through. Because we heard him back kind of where we are is where we heard him making scrapes. Out trying to get his first deer. We set up maybe 100 yards to the north of where we were yesterday morning when that big one came through with my brother. We scouted over there a little bit and found another scrape that was really fresh, so that was the direction that buck had come from. So we think he came through this maple grove right here, left a scrape, and then popped right over to where we were. Well, that wraps that trip up. That was a fun trip. It didn't quite work out the way we were hoping, but we were on deer almost every hunt. Last morning, nobody saw anything, but there were deer around, and yeah, anytime you can get out and go somewhere kind of adventurous, it's fun. So you go out and take your boat out and go zipping around. It's kind of a cool thing. So if you ever get the chance or the hankering, and you have a boat or somebody with a boat, and you got a river near you, just go look on maps and see if you can find a cool spot to just give it a shot. It's pretty fun. So yeah, hopefully I'll make another video or two this year if I get back out hunting again. Or ever get this house built. But yeah, probably had to get my butt in gear because we've got the rut is gonna be on us in a week or two. So yeah. Anyhow, good luck this year.